Hello everyone, welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show we are going to have Jamie. Jamie's from Wales in the UK. So let's see what Jamie has to say. Enjoy the interview. Hello.
There you
Oh
are.
yes. Oh yes, I can hear you now. Hello Jamie.
Hello, how are you? All right?
I'm very well. How are you doing today?
Good, thanks, really good.
Very good.
It's Saturday, it's a day off.
Amazing. And where are you from?
Swansea.
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 Swansea. How
Yeah.
far is Swansea from London?
Oh, about 3 hours on the train.
Okay. And what do you do for a living?
I'm a civil servant. I deal with employment disputes.
Okay.
Try and help people solve their disputes before they go to court.
Ooh. and
It's
what
a lot more stressful than it is.
and what do you like the most about your job?
Helping people. You know, nobody really wants to go to court unless they have to. So if we can help people avoid doing that because it's quite stressful, then helping people, yeah.
Great. And in your opinion, what's the most challenging part of it?
Managing people's expectations, because when people are in a dispute, they're arguing, which means they've got different viewpoints completely. So I've got to try and help people kind of come together, but I've got to manage their expectations, and sometimes people's expectations can be a little bit higher than what it really is. So, but yeah.
Very good. What you drinking? Coffee?
No water.
Just water.
But
Great.
it's not 4 o'clock yet. It's wine later on.
I've got some water here by my side as well. Okay, James, so welcome to William and the Magic Box. So I've got... my lovely box full of random fun questions, okay? I'm just gonna play some music just for us to get in the mood before the first.
I'm not going to be as good a dancer as you, mind. I've seen your other videos. I won't be as good as you.
Everyone can dance, just need to move yourself. There are no rules. Let's do it. Right, Jamie, ready for the first question?
Yeah, go on.
Let's do it. Oh, let's start with a tough one. If your plane was going down and you could call just one person to say goodbye, who that would be and why?
Oh, my mother.
Tell me about it. Why?
I'm really close to my mother, so yeah. I think I'd ring her because she'd worry if she didn't hear of me.
Do you have siblings as well?
Yeah, so I've got an older sister, I've got a twin brother, I've got a younger sister, and I've got a half brother.
I've got a twin brother.
Twin brother, yeah. We're nothing like it. We don't look like each other or anything. So.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
And he lives in Swansea as well.
No, we're kind of all scattered. So we're from the valleys of South Wales. So my dad still lives in the town that we're from. My sister lives next door to where we actually grew up as kids. She married the boy next door. My other sister lives in the Rhondda, and my brother is in Merthyr, and then my mother is further out again than Swansea.
I see. So
But we're all
Swansea.
spread over.
So Swansea is based in Wales, not in England.
No, we're in Wales. We're by the beach.
Oh, I see. No, because I was confused. I thought you were in England. Oh, I see. And how far is Swansea from Cardiff?
About 50 minutes on the train. I don't drive, so I do everything in terms of trains. About 50 miles, maybe a bit more, I don't know.
Oh, okay. So it's close. It's very close to Cardiff.
Yes, we're at Cardiff quite often.
I'll tell you something now. I've been in Cardiff once in my life, and I've been living in England for the last 15 years. And my first visa, the first visa I took in England. My second one, definitely remain. I need to go to Cardiff because it was deadline. I didn't have too much time, and I need to choose a place closer to the date that my visa would expire. And the only one available was in Cardiff, so I need to go all the way to Cardiff to get my definitely remain visa, like a long time ago. And I remember the book was Monday morning, so I went on Sunday night, Sunday afternoon, and I kind of just had a look around the city, not a lot, but yes, it's the only time I went to Cardiff.
Oh, you should go Cardiff's a nice city. You should go back and visit it again.
Yes. One of my best friends. He lives in London, but actually he's in Cardiff right now. He's from Wales.
Okay.
And yes, he goes there like a lot, and I'm planning, now this time, during this time now, I can't wait for this to finish so I can kind of travel a little bit more.
Yes.
Good memories.
Everybody wants to go traveling a bit more, don't they?
Yes, I think everyone's just like dying to get things back to back.
Definitely, yeah. Okay,
Jamie, let's go for the second question. Let's do it. You are telling me that you cannot dance, yeah?
I don't think I can, but...
Right. Next question is, what is the strangest gift have you ever received?
I would have to say probably the strangest gift I was ever given was homemade Hungarian spirits. So I used to be a restaurant manager, and I had various different nationalities working for me. And I had two people who worked for me who were Hungarian, and they go home and they would bring back this homemade spirit. They're like, we drink this all the time in Hungary. It was probably the vilest thing I think I've ever drunk in my life.
Did you get drunk straight away or not?
I couldn't drink it. Like literally, took a shot of it. It was awful. It was so bad. So I kind of sat there and I had small bottles, and they used to bring it quite regularly. And I didn't like to say it's awful. So it just sat there for a while in different bottles, and I waited till we had people over for drinks, and I just gave it to them instead.
Oh dear. I hope they're not going to be watching this interview, I hope.
I doubt it. I don't even know where they are anymore, because they work for me in Ireland. They're back home in Wales, so I'm all right.
Right, let's get another question for you then. Right, Jamie, before the next question, tell me what's the best part of living in Swansea?
Being by the beach. Literally from my front door to the beach is a 15-minute walk. So it's amazing. I don't know why, because I come from the valley, so I'm not used to being by water. But I love living by the beach, and even when it's a really, really grey and miserable day like it is today, it's just you get out for a walk and you come back and you feel so much better. I don't know what it is.
Totally, absolutely.
When the weather's nice, you get to have barbecues and get really drunk on the beach, so that's always fun as well.
Is a sand beach or stone?
Yeah, it's a sand beach. It's quite a big beach as well.
Oh wow, amazing. Yeah. Oh my god, I feel like going to the beach now after this conversation.
Well, you should come to Swansea.
Yes, for sure. Summertime is coming, why not? Next question is, what do you think people need to know about each other before they get married?
That's a tough one. Because you'd hope that people. I mean, I've been married, I've been divorced as well. I wish I'd known a lot more about my ex-partner before I got married. I don't know. I think if you get married, you've been in a relationship together for a while, so you'd hope that you know the good and the bad and the ugly. I suppose from personal experience, I'd say go with your gut. If it doesn't feel right, don't do it. So what does your gut tell you? Is it the right thing to do or not?
Absolutely. I think
if it's not, don't do it, because it's a really expensive mistake.
as well. I think that our intuition and our heart, if you don't follow your intuition, your heart, your feelings, if you lie to yourself, it's not gonna go there, because you start from the beginning in a wrong way, let's say.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And I would say as well, I think before people get married, I think they should at least live together for some time, like spend some time living together 24 hours, because sometimes if you don't do that, if you give this big step, and because some kind of our routine, you just see living together, because sometimes you know the person, of course, very well, you spend time together, but when you start living together, sharing the same place, that's where you see little things that you're not used to. And I think sometimes people make big mistakes. They get married, they're so excited, but they don't spend some time living together. That's where you find.
And I think people are conditioned to see marriage as this great big fairy tale, because that's how it's always portrayed in the films and all the rest of it. And for one day, it's a great big fairy tale, but it's normal life, it's real life the rest of the time. So
it's a maintenance. I think like living, like not just wedding, but like a relationship is a maintenance every day. It's like maintain. You need to maintain as well. And again, there are no rules. Sometimes people, they don't live together. They meet each other. They just spend together. They live forever together. So there are no rules. Just there. just follow intuition again, your intuition, your feelings, your heart, and that's.
Well, unless you're getting married just for the financial reasons, in which case make sure they've got as much money as possible when you do it.
To fill up the gaps that you're gonna be,
Yeah.
the issues afterwards. Let's go for another one. Let's go. Right, Jamie from Wales. Next question for you is: would you rather be invisible or be able to fly? And what would you do?
Fly. I dream that I can fly. Apparently, it's to do with my star sign. I'm a Sagittarius, so apparently we're quite flighty. We like to be independent. So I dream that I fly. So I suppose I'd like to fly, and it means I can get from A to B a lot quicker than on a bus or a train.
And where would you go if you could fly? Let's say for now, you can have the power of flying. Where would you go right now?
Oh, Gran Canaria, to sit on a beach.
Ooh, I love Gran Canaria.
I love Gran Canaria. I normally go every January with my friends. We obviously didn't go this year because of lockdown. So next year it is. But I love Gran Canaria. It's a beautiful little island.
It's amazing. I love it. It's so chilled and relaxed, you know. It's just like there's nothing. It's just relaxing. There's nothing to do there. Just relax and have a good time.
And get very drunk.
Yes, that's for sure. That's for sure. You know, you say about Sagittarius. You know, Sagittarius, they have compared with the other star sign, they have the biggest hearts. Did you know that?
Yeah. I really believe in that kind of stuff. So we're fiercely loyal, big heart, but we're independent and we don't like to be tamed. So we're quite flighty in that respect. So I'd agree with it mostly. Yeah.
My first one is Scorpio. I'm Scorpio, but my second one is Sagittarius. My second one, because your first one is the date when you were born, and the second one is the time when you were born. So,
I didn't know.
Yeah,
that.
yeah. My first one is I'm Scorpio, but my second one is Sagittarius.
So what's your main sign as a Scorpio? What's the big parts for you?
Right. So the positive, we are very loyal, independent, and caring as well. But the worst of Scorpio, we are very, very jealous, manipulated, jealous. So it can go in direction, and it makes sense. All of us, they say that Scorpio. Actually, this friend of mine from Wales once he said to me, William, I don't kind of believe about astrology. I don't follow astrology, but I know what Scorpio means, because he had relationship before in the past with Scorpio, and he's like, I know exactly what Scorpio is. So yeah, I think all of this star sign, they have their positive and negativity. So yeah. Another question?
Yeah, you're flying through them.
Let's do it. Before the next question, tell me something that you only can find in Wales. You cannot find anywhere else in the United Kingdom.
Welsh people. We are the best bit of Wales. If they've moved out of Wales, come home. No, Welsh people. Like I lived in Ireland for 6 years, and I found it was like living at home because they were kind of like Welsh people. I think Welsh people make Wales. Plus, it's the home of rugby as well.
Yes.
We like rugby. Do you like rugby? Do you follow rugby?
I don't follow. I mean, I don't understand the rules, but I love sports in general. I love watching sports. I love it. For me, one of the biggest therapy for me is just to stay at home and watch sport. The Olympics or the World Cup or all of the sports involved. I love it. I love watching.
I've got a Brazilian friend called Eric. You remind me quite a lot of him as well. And I made him watch rugby once. He didn't have a clue. He's like, that's the wrong shaped ball. Why are they running with it? Why aren't they kicking it? Where is the goalkeeper? I was like, yeah, we need to get you to watch it a few more times now.
Yes, it's very. I mean, I don't understand anything about the rules. I remember watching once with other friends, and I was like, "How can you explain?" And they briefly kind of explained a little bit to me, but I didn't get the thing. But it's good to watch. I think it's nice. It's a good view, isn't it? They have good views watching that. It takes you to a different place, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Next question is, what's the biggest difference between you and your best friend?
I think before I speak, he doesn't. we've been best mates for over 20 years, and we've got very similar senses of humour. And in some company and in some situations, our sense of humour could be deemed inappropriate. I'll think about what I'm saying before I say it. He doesn't. He just goes boom and says it, and then you're like, too late to take that back now. You said it. If you'd left it 5 minutes, it might have been appropriate. But yeah, and I suppose probably he does care about what other people think. He doesn't care as much about what they think as I do. He's like, well, he's more of a live for now, and I'm more like, well, I'd rather worry about tomorrow.
Right. And he lives in Swansea as well?
No, he lives in Newport, so he's between Cardiff and Bristol.
Okay, so not far.
Yeah, not far at all. Yeah.
You know each other for 20 years. Wow.
Yeah, it's probably been longer than 20 years.
Wow, that's amazing. Great. It's good to have to keep close friends for so long. God.
I think because we've got such our sense of humour probably has kept us friends, to be fair. Yeah.
Cool. Very good, very good. I'm sure you're going to be happy to hear this interview when it goes live.
Knowing him, he'll probably say he's watched it and he hasn't watched it, and he'll lie to you.
Next question for you, Jamie. Right. Next question for you is: who is your biggest idol, and what have you learned from this person?
I think probably one of the biggest people that I find personally as an inspiration is a guy called Aidan Dolan, and he was the first trans man to ever grace the cover of Men's Health. I follow him on all the social media. The guy is phenomenal, but he's obviously transitioned from being a female to a man. And you just look at him, and he is so comfortable with himself. And I think anybody that can be as openly, genuinely themselves as possible and isn't afraid to show the world that is somebody that can inspire anybody. I've got his picture as a screensaver on my phone, because if he can be the person he wants to be, I can be whatever I want to be.
That's amazing. Wow. So he was a female, and now he's a male.
Yeah.
Transgender.
He said he was the first trans man to ever grace the cover of Men's Health in America. And he does quite a lot of other stuff. He does a lot of advocacy work. He's got his own charities and stuff like that. But again, I think just for the message that he gives out on a personal level is you can be whoever you want to be, and you don't need to be afraid. I think that's a really positive message to send, particularly because the world has been a bit topsy-turvy over the last couple of years, and in the UK we've had lots going on as well. I think when you've got somebody that is coming out saying, don't be afraid of things, just be yourself, I think that's a really strong message to send.
Absolutely, I totally agree. I think people, to do something like he did, I think you need to be very brave to face the world, to be out there, being yourself, being brave, and stand up for yourself, and to inspire some people as well. People get inspired by it, that's for sure. You need to be very, very brave to, just don't care what the society, the world around is going to tell you. It's just kind of, okay, I'm going to follow myself, my happiness, and be myself.
And you kind of learn as well, though, because that's his personal journey. It's not a journey I've been through myself. It's not one I'll ever go through, so I can never understand what it's like to walk in his shoes. But I can at least understand how it felt for him, and what I could do as a person to help other people that might be doing the same thing as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just find his message really positive.
I agree. Good one. Very good. I'm glad you shared that. Are you enjoying the show so far?
I am, yeah. I'm holding a pen. It's a force of habit because I'm sitting at the desk in the office. I'm holding a pen.
I thought you were making notes of the question.
No.
I'm joking.
They're your questions from your magic box. You can keep them. I'll write my own.
Let's go for another one. Right. Tell me something, Jamie. I believe you are gay, yeah?
I am, yeah.
You always had the support of your family being gay?
Mostly, yeah. I mean, my parents and my siblings are really good. My grandmother wasn't so good, but that's her issue. So, yeah. But for the most part, yeah. Mostly.
And how was your experience coming out as gay? If you can share.
So I came out when I was 16. I had just started doing my A-levels. And whilst it was legal in the UK, probably the best way to put it, it wasn't necessarily okay. And where I lived at the time, it probably wasn't the best place to come out at that age. So my mother was always a bit worried that I might get queer bashed and stuff, which I did a few times, but you know, it is. So yeah, but the point I came out, I was just happy to be me. I didn't really care what other people thought. And for the most part, people were supportive. I did encounter some homophobia. I did get queer bashed quite a few times. And then naturally moved from small valley town to Cardiff because it was the closest big city, and a bit more freedom, and you can be yourself. People weren't as bothered, but you know, like the Rhondda where I'm from, they've had pride events for the last couple of years. So even small towns, are kind of, you know, I say catching up, and I don't mean necessarily say that people weren't there already. But they're kind of catching up with how the rest of the world and the rest of the area are in terms of putting on events to show support, which is a massive improvement. But yeah, for the most part, I you know, you hear quite a lot of kind of stories, and they'll go one of two ways. There'll be the really bad extreme where, and that does happen unfortunately, where people get involved and they're left homeless. You go the other extreme where people, you know, it's like, well, we're telling you you're gay because we knew you were gay. There's no point coming out. Kind of sits somewhere in the middle. Mine wasn't bad by any stretch of the imagination. There were some bits that weren't so nice, but by and large, it was a good experience. So, yeah.
Very good, great. Right, next question for you is, tell us that's something that you have done that you feel very proud of yourself.
Most of the stuff that I've done that I'm always proud of has always been to do with, because I've always had quite a high work ethic, so it always tends to be work things. Don't know. I suppose just being me, because I'm proud of just being me, because I think I was brought up with morals and standards, and that you treat people as people want to be treated, and I've used that lesson throughout my life. But I've applied it. You know, I've been quite active in political movements, equality campaigning, and things like that. So that some of the things that I encountered when I was younger, people these days don't have to encounter. Yeah, so I think taking the lessons my parents gave me as a child and applying those to not just my working life, but to day-to-day life. You know, I can't even remember how many rallies I've been on, you know, where we've been defending our rights to say no to fascism and racism. I got kicked out of a conference for heckling Stonewall once because at the time they didn't recognise trans rights, and they'd been invited to an LGBT conference to talk, and I heckled them and got kicked out because I was like, you can't speak for all of us if you don't represent trans rights, so I got kicked out.
Oh, wow. You
Yeah.
see that? Yeah. Sometimes you go through those unexpected experiences, isn't it? Which, yeah.
And I survived it all. That's probably actually the proud bit, is that I've been through it all and I've survived it all. No. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I'm sure you have the opportunity to go through again. Different one.
Yeah. You know.
That's for sure.
You see me on some kind of rally with a placard somewhere.
No, we're not going to get to this point for sure. Another question. Right, next question for you is, tell me something that you cannot live without.
Chocolate. Honestly, yeah, chocolate. I've got such a sweet tooth.
Which one is your favorite?
Turkish Delight. Oh, have you seen the Cadbury's jelly popping candy?
Which one?
It's Cadbury's. It's a jelly popping candy. So it's got jelly beans in it and popping candy at the same time.
I'm not sure actually. It's the one that your mouth goes funny when you eat it.
Yeah.
Like when eating, you feel like some things around your mouth. Yes, it's fun.
Yeah. Well, I like chocolate. Yeah. If I'm feeling down, chocolate. If I'm not feeling down, chocolate.
I love chocolate as well.
Just don't leave it in the fridge for too long, or it'll break your front tooth like mine.
I read once that people who love chocolate, they are the happiest people.
Yeah, chocolate releases a chemical in your brain. So, yeah.
So let's eat chocolate every day.
Everything.
Right, another question for you. Right, Jamie from Wales. Next question for you is, tell me something that you've learned during this lockdown.
Probably not to share your opinion so much, because I think everybody, and I heard a really good quote about this, Enrique, is that we were all in the same storm, but we weren't in the same boat. So yes, we were all going through it together.
Like that.
And but it's true, isn't it? If you think about it, yes, we were all going through the pandemic, but it affected each and every single one of us in different ways. So whilst I thought a certain way was appropriate, and I was quite vocal about that, for other people, that wasn't the case. And I suppose it's to not be so quick to judge, well, is the one thing I've learned, because you don't know what other people are going through. Yeah, I suppose that's what it is, because I think we're quite divided as a society at the minute. We had the fallout of Brexit and what that meant. Then we've gone straight into a pandemic, and everybody is just so angry and so quick to judge and get wound up about something or offended about something. And so if you want to stop and breathe for a minute and go, what is the other person actually going through? Why do they feel that way? I know you might not agree with them at the end of it still, but at least you're taking the time to think about where they're coming from.
Absolutely. And sometimes as well put ourselves in their shoes, sometimes try to understand.
Yeah, I think that's probably the key thing, because like I said, I think because it's all been such a pressure bubble, we've all just been so quick to get angry and offended, and it's like, no, actually, we're a lot better than that as people. If we just stopped and thought for a second, we're a lot better, and we should be really trying to understand what other people are going through first.
Absolutely. Wow, good one. I like that. Very good. Right, Jamie, I have 3 questions left for you. Ready?
Yeah, go on, let's go for it.
Right, next question for you is, who is your biggest hero?
See, I think you can be a hero without being an icon, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
So if you're an icon, you're somebody that inspires. So as a hero, is somebody you can really look up to. I've always been a massive fan of people like Freddie Mercury and Princess Diana, purely because when they were alive, they lived how they wanted to live. They knew it would upset people. They knew it would rock boundaries, but they didn't care, and they did it anyway. And it's like, you kind of got to admire them, for essentially saying F you to whether it was the music industry, whether it was an establishment. They essentially like, we don't care, we're going to be ourselves, and you can like it or lump it. So yeah, people like Freddie Mercury and Diana Ross. I know Diana Ross, Princess Diana. Diana Ross, look, just check everything.
Yeah, they left their signature, in the board, left their, yeah, that's for sure. I love Princess Diana.
You said that way better than I could have said it. They left their signature, but they did.
They did, absolutely. And they're going to be always remembered, that's for sure. Yeah. Always. Their legacy is going to be forever.
Yeah. It's like other people be themselves as well after,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I'm all for a bit of rabble rousing. If it means causing trouble, I'm all for it. So yeah.
Right, 2 questions left. Let's do it. Okay, Jamie, let's go for the next question for you. Tell me something that you always want to do, but you're scared of.
To adopt, to be a dad.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, I mean, I've inquired and I did start the process, but I think it's quite it's a scary prospect for anybody. But I'm a single man, and I think the idea for quite a lot of years, because I've wanted kids since I was 16, for quite a lot of my life, the idea of having kids wasn't even a possibility. It's only in the last 10 years, for example, that it's become a possibility. But I've lived with that thought for so long that it's never going to happen. The idea that it could happen now scares me, because like, am I actually ready for this? And yeah, I understand why you've got to go through a process, and there's a lot of hoops and there's a lot of stuff like that. But it makes you start questioning yourself, and then any kind of doubt you have, the smallest little doubt suddenly becomes amplified. And it's like, if I had just gone and got a girl pregnant last night, I wouldn't have to worry about any of that. I would just have to get on with it. So yeah, being a dad is probably the one thing I would love to do, but it's the scariest thing that I could think of doing as well.
I'm in the same boat as you. I've always wanted to have kids, always, since I was a very young age, like you're saying. But as you said, the oldest you get, I think you start wondering more, and you know the expectations are different. You know, it's I totally understand what you mean. But I still one day I'd like to have kids. One day still. That's for sure. Yeah.
I'd like to have a little me running around the place somewhere.
Yes, for sure. Jamie, ready for the last one?
Well, yeah.
Let's do it. Right, Jamie, just before the last question, tell me what's the biggest difference between you and your twin brother, and the biggest similarity between both of you?
Well, similarity is probably going to be really difficult because we are polar opposites. So when you say chalk and cheese, I don't know if you've heard that expression before. Chalk and cheese is completely different. So it's a phrase that is said quite a bit. We are chalk and cheese. We're not identical. You wouldn't even take us for brothers, never mind siblings. Yeah, we're just completely different people. I suppose in terms of similarity, we're both quite passionate. How we display that passion is a bit different, but that's probably the closest we are in terms of similarity is our passion for people around us and things like that. But otherwise, we're completely different.
Are you guys close?
No.
No.
No. We were when we were little. When my parents separated, we went different ways, and our life has gone in different directions. And I think that's possibly had a bit to do with it. So yeah, it's a shame. We're not close, but that's family for you, isn't it?
Absolutely. And he's gay as well or not?
No, he's straight, he's got kids, and he's been in the army and done tours out in Iraq and stuff like that. So I've worked in call centres and pubs and restaurants most of my life, so we've had completely different lives as well and experiences.
Right, let's go for the last one. Okay, Jen, the last one is, what's your favorite TV show?
I love telly. I would say recently It's a Sin on Channel 4, because I thought that was phenomenal. Yeah, recently It's a Sin. Overall,
I watched it actually a few weeks ago for the first time.
Good. It's really, really good. I think it's programs like that are great because it gets to revisit something that in more of a positive light than it was portrayed at the time. Because frankly I didn't live through that generation, but the people that did, it was quite a negative, horrific experience. So to be able to sit back and view it, but do it through entertainment rather than a lived experience is a great thing. Yeah, no, I did like that one.
It broke my heart when the Welsh guy, when he was so genuine, so genuine, and he was I would never expect, he was kind of shy in his words. Yeah. It turned out his life in London.
But it opened up some conversations. So my mother is a nurse, so she's a retired nurse now. But when she started her nursing training, she actually nursed one of the first HIV dementia patients in Wales. I didn't even know that dementia had been a side effect of HIV, and didn't even think that it was something my mother had any experience of, because you automatically assumed it was to do with the gay community. You didn't see the wider effect. So I think it was great. It opened up conversations, and people were able to talk about stuff that they probably would never have thought to talk about.
Absolutely. Yeah, the good one. I really liked as well. I really liked. I watched it again with my Welsh friends. We watched it like in 2 days, like the whole thing, the whole series, because it's just.
I watched it in 1 day. I binge watched all day.
I couldn't. So I said, okay, I was catched to it, but I couldn't at the time. I said, okay, let's watch half now and watch half next time. But like less than 1 week, I watched it for both, so it was quite quick. Jamie, it's not the end yet, okay? Let's play now the quick thinking game, okay? I'll be very simple and just tell me what comes to your mind, okay?
Okay.
Let's start with politics.
Boring.
Money.
Evil.
Family.
No.
How about love?
Complicated.
Sex?
Yes, please.
Religion?
No.
Fear?
Necessary.
Friendship?
Love. Again, yeah.
Regrets?
Too many.
Desire?
No, yeah. Happiness.
How about wish?
Success.
And happiness?
Yeah. Yes, please, whenever.
How about success? One word.
Pride.
Right, and one word for Swansea.
Beautiful.
And the last one, Wales.
Home.
Great, very good. For that, let's pretend that I'm going to meet your best friend, the one you know for over 20 years, and I'm going to ask him, define Jamie in one positive word and one negative word only. What he would say?
Negative, he'd say dramatic. Positive, I think he'd say loyal.
Cool. Right, let's play now, Jamie, the magic box. You can ask me a question. Okay, Jamie, you can ask me a question now.
Okay, what words of wisdom would you give to your childhood self?
Wow, what an amazing question. Wow. I would say, a very good question. Willpower. I'll tell you why. I think I at a very early age I realized and learned when I look back now when I was a child that anything in life is possible. Anything in life is possible, but it comes down to you to work hard, to believe it, to trust in yourself, to follow your intuition, and to believe in yourself. And when I look back, and I think being willpower, I think it defined myself a lot when I was a child, because I didn't have let's say financial support for my family, but I did my studies, and it's funny, when I was very young, I remember on my school holidays when I was like 7 years old or 8 years old, I was asking my dad to work. I was like, how can I work during he was like, no, it's your holidays now, it's your school holidays, you need to enjoy, you need to rest. And I was like, no, I want to work, I want to do something. And I think since an early age, I always have this drive of, as you said about work ethic, I've always been like that as well. I always had this, one of my passion in life is working. I love work. For me, it's move myself. I just love it. And so yes, very early, young age, I always have this passion of, to go around the world and just to be a better person, to go after my dreams. And so yeah, I would find myself as willpower for sure. That's for sure.
Okay, that's a good answer.
Good answer, yes. Jamie, did you have a good time?
I did, yeah. It was really fun. Yeah.
Thanks for taking your time to do this interview with me. Thanks for being kind and sweet, and to have a time to be interacting, to answer some questions, and to get to know a little bit about yourself, and you share your experience as well. Thank you very much.
No worries, okay.
But before you go, if you don't mind to share a positive quote or a positive message, something that inspires you.
Yeah. Equality is not a political right, it's a human right.
It says everything.
I live by that. Other people should not be legislating on people's human rights. End of story. It's something I generally believe in. So yeah.
And if you could define human rights in one word, what would be?
My right to be who I want to be, so long as my right is not breaking any law that is against what would be considered to be a reasonable law. Human right is my right to be whoever I am as an individual without fear of persecution or prosecution.
Absolutely. Jamie, it was a pleasure. Thanks so much. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. All the best. Take care. Okay?
Bye.
Bye. So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, to share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, First, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why you'd like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye, see you next time.